Hello, a very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us for the Monday edition of our Sports Today, happening here on ABS TV. And still in the spirit of the celebration, we say Happy Easter to you. Remember, Christ is the reason for the celebration. Welcome to the show. My name is Ike Nwokedi, and a whole lot went down in the world of sports. And what we'll do here is 360 degrees navigation around the world in style to bring you up to the very latest in sports. Well, we'll tell you about match day 13 results of the Nigeria Professional Football League, the NPFL. Their Bridge League is still on, and we'll have some amazing results are coming through over the weekend. We'll come back home and tell you about the Neros Anambra FA Cup, the biggest FA Cup in Nigeria, as Ozala FC of Obosi dethroned the defending champions Edel FC. We'll also tell you about how Oka Angels got the better of Morim Mado and Kidis Football Club. We'll also be telling you about Al Ahly. Yes, Al Ahly have lodged a new complaint against Al Hilal, and that's to CAF. And then we'll serve you some stories from Formula One. We've got tennis, athletics, and then we'll check out the results of matches played over the weekend in Europe. We'll focus on Western Europe, England, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. These are the three major leagues we'll be focusing on the show Sports Today on ABS TV. Well, let's begin with our first story. Yes, our first story is about the new champions of the Neros Anambra FA Cup, the biggest FA Cup in Nigeria. That's the FA Cup that gives 2 million naira to the winner, 1 million naira to the runner-up, and the third place team gets 500,000 naira, while the fourth place team gets the sum of 100,000 naira. Yes, it was yesterday at the Neros Sports Complex Nanka that history was made again as Oka Angels FC and Ozala FC on Sunday emerged the champions of the male and female categories of the 2023 Neros Pharmaceuticals Anambra FA Cup played at the Neros Sports Complex out there in Nanka. Yes, we have to tell you that Oka Angels defeated Morin Mado's Kidis FC, that's the MMK FC, by a lone goal scored in the 61st minute of the game by Oluchi Akujieze in the first finals played on the day. The victory was a sweet revenge for the Alex Nzekweza female side who lost to the KFC in the previous edition held last year. Ozala FC on their part dethroned last year's defending champions Edel FC through Michael Chideraza strike in the 42nd minute where Edel FC goalkeeper Uche Iloha should have done better with the saves, and the boys from Obosi held their nerves to survive the onslaught of their opponents even after his keeper, Ebuka Ewudo, was served his matching orders in the course of the game. That was in the second half. In the third and fourth place match played earlier on Saturday, Global FC of Onitsha saw off Peace FC of Oka 8-7 on penalty shootout after a score that draw at the end of 90 minutes of regulation time. In his reaction, the benefactor chief, Professor Paulie Emenike, commended the two sides for a good display in the finals, which was not short of entertainment. Emenike revealed that his love for the round leather game is the reason behind the sponsorship of the competition for over 15 years and counting. He called on stakeholders to see football as a tool for fostering unity and coexistence. On his part, the chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, that's the man you're seeing on your screen, putting on a white shirt, Honorable Patrick Estate Onyedum, commended Chief Emenike for his immense support to the game in the state and beyond. He pointed out that the commission currently has a blueprint that will encourage not just the growth of football, but other sports in its entirety. Also responding, the proprietor of Ozala FC, Ikenna Osueke, which you see his picture on your screen holding the trophy, Ikenna Osueke, commended both sides for putting on a good show. He especially commended his boys for the display against an experienced side in the mode of Edel FC. He also revealed that they will step up preparations in order to prepare for the Nationals Federation Cup. And Ozala FC and Edel FC will represent the state in the male version of the 2023 Federations Cup, while Oka Angels and MMK FC will represent the state in the female. That's the champions. You're seeing there the proprietor of that club, Ozala FC, in the person of Iken Nosueke. You're seeing him there with Victor Wangu. Yes, Victor Wangu. When you talk about Victor Wangu, you may wish to call him the grandfather of football in Anambra State. He has been one-time secretary of the Anambra State Football Association. So he's Iken Nosueke there posing with Victor Wangu with the trophy won to dethrone Edel FC. Remember, Edel FC, we are the defending champions last season, and now they got to the finals, and Ozala FC have done something extraordinary in winning this year's edition of the Federations Cup. Those are the pictures you're seeing from the Nero Sports Stadium yesterday. That's when the chairman was coming in and he was being received by the benefactor of that championship. And this is Oka Angels FC posing after they won their finals against Morim Madikidis. And this is Ozala FC celebrating in real style. This is their proprietor, like I told you. So it's all celebration, and it's the dawn of a new era for football in Anambra State. So we'll have new champions. Talking about Ozala FC of Obosi, and also we'll have Oka Angels that have been there for a while now, and Oka Angels are now on top on the food chain of football glory in Anambra State by way of winning the Neros Anambra FA Cup. So we'll say congratulations to the two teams. Talking about Ozala FC and Oka Angels, but you also have to know that Ozala FC and Edel FC will represent Anambra State in the National Federations Cup, that's organized by the Nigeria Football Federation and ITU, while Morin Madukidis, a football club, and Oka Angels will represent Anambra State. Also in the female category, still talking about the Federations Cup, that's coming up later in the year. So preparations will start immediately, like Iken Nosueke stated, that they will start preparation for the preparation for the Federations Cup. Remember, Ozala FC will play in the NLO. That's the Nigerian Nationwide League One. That's the third tier of Nigeria club football. So this club is not resting on their oars, and they are doing a whole lot in terms of shaping the game in the state. So kudos to Ozala FC, and kudos to Iken Nosueke, the proprietor of Ozala FC. He has shown real commitment. And also one thing happened there at the finals. Yes, Barrister JBC Obikwel, the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the Nigeria Football Federation, equally eulogized Iken Nosueke and promised that he will give them 500,000 naira when they'll start their quest at the National Federation. So all good for Ozala FC, and their fans are trooped out in number yesterday to support the team to victory. And we say congratulations once again to Oka Angels and Ozala FC. Moving away from that, let's talk about UFC. Israel Adesanya claimed that his middleweight title from long time bitter rival Alex Pereira with a spectacular knockout at the UFC 287 in Miami, Florida. With his back against the cage in round 2, Adesanya, 33 years of age, unleashed two crushing right hands to send Pereira, 35, to the canvas. The victory avenges 3 previous defeats for Adesanya against Pereira. He lost 2 in kickboxing, and that was in 2016 and 2017. And a UFC 281 in November. And the most recent defeat inside the octagon saw Brazil's Pereira in a stunning 5-round knockout to the title. In the co-main event, Brazil's Gilbert Burns defeated hometown favorite Jorge Masvidal by unanimous decision, and then called for a title fight with British welterweight champion Leon Edwards. And UFC president Dana White has previously said American Colby Covington is next for Edwards, but a second successive win for the 5th ranked Burns, 36 years of age, Cole put him in the title picture. But our own concern is that Israel Adesanya is in the news for the right reasons and getting the win. This time around, the sweet revenge after losing 3 times to Pereira. And what a way to do that in style for Israel Adesanya. We say congratulations to him for doing this and making himself proud. And also Nigeria, once again, being in the picture for the right reasons. Away from Israel Adesanya story, let's talk about match day 13 of the Nigeria Professional Football League. The NPFL is a bridge version of the NPFL, and the NPFL this coming Sunday will enter match day 14, but there were match day 13 results as seen on your screen. Wiki Tourist of Bauchi lost at home. The ATBS to Bayelsa United. Informed Bayelsa United. Wiki Tourist lost 1-2 in that match. Akwa United 2, Nasarawa United 2. This one happened at the Godswill Akpabio International Sports Stadium, fondly called the Nest of Champions. Gombe United defeated El Kanemi at the Patani Stadium in a Northeast derby. Lobby Stars 2, Abia Warriors 0. It happened at the Just New Stadium. Shooting Stars played out a 1-1 draw against the Remo Stars. The Sunshine Stars won, Rangers won. Yes, the Rangers International bounced back, got an away draw, and that's good for Rangers International. Their form on the road has not been in the best one, but Rangers International have gone there to Akure, and we're able to hold on and got a 1-1 draw. I will say big one for Rangers International. Congratulations to them for getting that massive result away from home. Niger Tornadoes 0, Rivers United 0. Of course, what do you expect from the champions? Rivers United, of course, are playing well and showing that they are the real champions, are also showing that they deserve to be in the continent. Remember, Rivers United will be playing in the quarterfinals of the Confederations Cup, and the Yimba International defeated Plateau United by 2-1. On your screen right now, you could see the league log. This is Group B. Lobby Stars is still on the top of the chart with 23 points from 12 matches played. Rivers United second, Niger Tornadoes third, Doma United is fourth, Sunshine Stars, Abia Warriors, Enugu Rangers, Bayelsa United, Wiki and Dakada, and that way. And let's see as it goes. The top three should be playing in the Super 6, or is it going to be Super 8? Or watch out, maybe by the end of the season we'll know if it's going to be Super 8 or Super 6. Let's check out for Group A. For Group B now, you're seeing what is happening in Group B, and we'll show you that of Group A shortly. For the table now, it is for Group A, Bendel Insurance with 27 points from 13 matches played. Akwa United yesterday would have gone closer with maybe 2 points adrift of them, but they capitulated against their opponents. That's I'm talking about Nasarawa United. And Enyimba third on the log. Remo Stars with 19 points from 4 matches played. From 13 matches played, I beg your pardon. Plateau United 5th, Gombe 6th. Shooting Star 7th, Kwara 8th. Nasarawa United has to do better alongside El Kanemi. Else, they will be relegated at the end of the season. And you know it is an abridged version of the league. And having said that, it is just 5 matches to the end of the season. Yes, 5 matches to the end of the season. That's the way it is. After this Sunday, it will be 4 matches. So for teams like Nasarawa United and El Kanemi, they should be doing better. Else, they will be relegated. That's why you have their points in red, 9 and 8. So Nasarawa United and El Kanemi Warriors have their job cut out. They have to improve. Else, they will be relegated at the end of the season. It's an abridged version of the league, 18 matches. As you're seeing, 10 teams, 9 matches home, 9 home matches and 9 away matches. That's 18 matches. So we're down to match day 14. We're entering match day 14. After that, we'll have 4 matches to the end of the season, all to still play for in the Nigeria Professional Football League, albeit the abridged version of the NPFL. Let's move away from the NPFL. Let's go to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and talk about Sunday. Akin Dare, the Minister for Youth and Sports, and Sunday Dare said it was important to have more home-based players in the Super Eagles as a matter of national policy. Dare stressed that it was important to make the domestic league players form part of the national football team in the overall interest of the country. He noted that home-based or foreign coaches should be encouraged to inject players in the elite league, the Nigeria Premier League, in the Super Eagles. And the minister said, and I quote, "Our football DNA is at the domestic league and we cannot throw it away just like that. I always stress that we need some of the quality players in the league to join other top players in the Super Eagles. There is nothing wrong in taking a decision that 25% of the players to be invited to the national camp should be from our league. That's where we are elevating the league, and we are also developing the standard of football in the country." The words of Sunday Akin Dare, I think I quite agree with him. It is time for some of the players of our the Nigeria Professional Football League or even the NNL, the second tier, giving opportunity to see if they can play. Even if it's not in the Super Eagles, they can play for the under-20, the Flying Eagles, the Olympic team under-23. And for those that are younger, maybe those from the academy that got into the first team, were able to do that, can play at the under-17 level. And those are some of the things Sunday Dare Racing is saying it should be a sports policy, and let's watch out and see if that can be implemented to be an act and move away from being a bill. Those are the motions that are being moved by Sunday Dare. Anyways, we're watching out for that and see if that will be adopted. From one team to another, let's talk about the female team. Super Falcons are in the news this morning, and they are preparing for the World Cup coming up. And let's tell you that Super Falcons coach Randy Waldrum believes that Nigeria can replicate Morocco's 2022 World Cup feat and reach the semi-finals of the 2023 FIFA World Cup. Morocco became the first African nation to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup last time out, and that was in Qatar. And Waldrum believes that his ladies and replicate the form of the Moroccan national team. And Super Falcons coach Randy Waldrum believes that Nigeria can replicate that form come at the World Cup. And Morocco shocked Africa and the rest of the world after an amazing run that saw them reach the final four of the World Cup in Qatar. And the Atlas Alliance claimed some big scalps on their way to the semi-finals, and they defeated Belgium, Spain, and Portugal before they lost 2-0 to France in the semi-finals, despite a spirited performance at that one. Moving away from that one, let's talk about this Nigerian who has been in the news for the right reasons. Victor Osimhen once again making the news. Let's tell you that renowned agent Andre D'Amico has hailed the Nigerian star Victor Osimhen as the best striker in the world. The Italian also stated that PSG will go all out to secure the services of Napoli striker if Lionel Messi leaves the French giant for the MLS at the end of the season. The Amico believes that Osimhen is better than Manchester City marksman Erling Haaland, who is considered by some of the best, some to be the best out-and-out striker in the world currently. And the 24-year-old has also been linked with Premier League clubs such as Manchester United and Chelsea, as well as PSG. His contract with Napoli is expected to expire in 2025, having joined the club from a French side, Lille Lux Metropole, for a record fee of £70 million. That's the story of Victor Osimhen. And now quickly to the African scene before we go for a short break. Al Ahly have sent another letter to the Confederation of African Football, CAF, to complain about Al Hilal following their Champions League clash in Cairo on April 1. The Red Eagles have booked their place in the quarterfinals after beating the Blue Waves 3-0 at the Cairo International Stadium in the final round of the group stages. We hear Marcel Kolar's side has secured a second place in Group B on goal difference ahead of Sudanese champions, as both teams had finished on 10 points with a record of 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 defeats. Their first encounter in Omdurman on February 18 was a heated affair after Al Hilal's supporters assaulted the Al Ahly players before and after the match, which resulted in CAF taking action against the Sudanese Premier League outfit. And the return leg in the Egyptian capital also courted a controversy, with a local reporter claiming that visiting fans clashed with Kolar's players once more, and the 10-time African champions confirmed they had contacted CAF to clarify the incident that took place on match day 6 in that one. So that's the story about Al Ahly, and their complaints are being lodged to the body in charge of football on the continent. That's the Confederation of African Football. You're watching Sports Today on ABS TV, the first one for the week. We'll take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll tell you about Formula One, some Formula One stories. Charles Leclerc is in the news. We'll also tell you about a story about Tottenham Hotspur and Burnley match. The referees are talking about that match. We'll give you the twist about that, and then we'll serve you the results of of matches played in Western Europe. Arsenal and Liverpool 2-2. He ended. Arsenal went 2-0 up, but could not sustain the lead, and he ended 2-0. But Arsenal are still on top of the log, and they still have their fate in their own hands with 8 matches to go in the Premier League. That's all we'll talk about in the second half of the show Sports Today when we return in a short while. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. It is Sports Today on ABS TV. Happens here weekdays 9:15 to 9:55 a.m. Mondays to Friday. This is the first time package and the production for the new week, and a special edition on Easter Monday, still in the spirit of the celebration. And before the break, we told you about Oka Angels and Ozala FC, emerging champions of the 2023 Neros Anambra FA Cup. We probably serve you the results of matches played in the Nigeria Professional Football League. We told you that Sunday Dare, the Minister of Youth and Sports, is saying that integration of local-based players or players in the NPFL and NNL should be part of the sports policy of the country. And then we'll tell you about Wildroom and how his charges are preparing for the World Cup in Australia. I told you about Alakli. We equally told you about Victor Osimhen on the bulletin. Now, let's move on to our next story. This one is on Formula One. In Formula One, Charles Leclerc has asked the fans to respect his privacy and stop turning up outside his Monaco apartment. And we hear the 25-year-old said his address has recently become public, leading to fans gathering outside and ringing the bell. That's quite funny. And the Ferrari driver said he will still greet fans in public places or at the track, but gathering at his house is a boundary that should not be crossed. And I think he's right about that. Charles Leclerc had his watch stolen in Italy last year as he posed for a selfie with 2 people wearing Scotta helmets. And that's one. And Italian police said last week they had arrested 4 people wanted in connection with the theft in the seaside resort of Viareggio. And that was in the month of April. So these things that happens everywhere. Stealing of that magnitude. Charles Leclerc losing his watch when he went to post for a picture shot with some persons, some fans, as you say, and that's it happens everywhere. But for Charles Leclerc, he feels he wants his privacy. He doesn't want fans gathering in front of his home almost all the time. And he wants his privacy. And he said he will still exchange pleasantries with all of them whenever he sees them and whenever they get to meet. And also moving away from that one, let's talk about athletics. This time around, Mo Farah makes a return to the news that Mo Farah has finished 7th in the 30 minutes and 41 seconds in the Port Gentil 10 kilometers in Gabon 15 days before the London Marathon. 4-time Olympic champion Farah, 40 years of age, has been training in Ethiopia in preparation for the marathon on the 23rd of April. He announced in January that he expects 2023 to be his final year of racing before retirement. And Kenya's Vincent Kipkemoy won in Gabon in 28 minutes and 11 seconds. And Farah missed the 2022 London Marathon with a hip injury. And this year's event will be his first full marathon since 2019. So he's been out for almost 4 years, but is about to make a stronger comeback. And that's why he featured in the marathon held in Gabon. And that's a way to prepare for this one. It is expected to be the Britain's final London Marathon appearance, and he will be up against 4 of 6-4. And defending champion Benchicha played 2 matches on Sunday, completing a rain-interrupted semi-final against Jessica Pegula before facing Jabbar. It is Jabbar's 4th WTA title and 2nd on clay. And Jabbar has had a difficult start to the season and struggled with injury following her 2nd round Australian Open exit in January. However, she fought back from a breakdown in the first set against Benchicha before holding her nerve in the second to secure the title. She has now won 37 clay court matches since at the start of the 2022 2020 season rather, the most of any player on the WTA tour during that time. Elsewhere, world number 5, Kasper Ruud defeated Miomir Kecmanovic to win at the Estoril Open and claim his first title of the year. The world number 4, or rather world number 5, 5 straight games in the first set before Seb Kecmanovic, ranked 40th in the world, took Ruud to a tie break in the second. But the 24-year-old Norwegian held on to win 6-1, 7-6 in Portugal and halt his poor start to the year. Before the week, last year's French Open, US Open runner-up, had won just 5 of his 11 games in 2023. However, Ruud's 10th career title will be enough to push him back up to 4th in the ATP rankings coming up by the end of today. So congratulations to the winners in tennis. That's what we want to see, that they continue to achieve more results. Now, talking about a football refereeing body, PGMOL has admitted that Brighton and Hove Albion should have had a penalty for Pierre-Emile Hallsberg's tackle on Kaoru Mitoma in Saturday's game against Tottenham Hotspur. The incident was one of a number of decisions that went against Roberto De Zerbi's men, and Hallsberg seemed to catch Mitoma in the second half, but referee Stuart Atwell did not give the decision in real time. VAR did not intervene, and Brighton eventually lost 2-1 to Hurricanes' late goal in that match. If Brighton and Hove Albion had won at the game, they would now be in 6th position, a point behind Tottenham Hotspur with 2 games in hand. And reports say that direct communication between PGMOL chief Howard Webb and senior Brighton officials acknowledged that the mistake, and Brighton had asked for clarification around a number of decisions during the match, with PGMOL later releasing a statement confirming it had been in contact with the club. And so sad, I have to say, about that one. Well, that's what you get to see sometimes that happens in the game. And this time around, Brighton suffered more on that one. Well, this will now lead us to results of our league matches as we gradually come towards the closing stages of the show. The results of league matches across Western Europe right now. Let's start with France. The French Ligue 1 is fondly called. In France, Lorient played out a goalless draw against Marseille. It's Nantes 2, Monaco 2, Ajaccio 0, Auxerre 3. Montpellier lost 1-2 to Toulouse in their match. Elsewhere was Reims 1, Brest 1, Troyes 0, Clermont-Foot 2. Olympique Lyon at the Stade Gelon defeated Rennes by 3-1. It was Nice 0, PSG 2. Angers 1, Leo Lux Metropole 0, and Lens defeated Strasbourg by 2-1. Let's move over to Germany. It is called the Bundesliga. The first tier of club football in that country. We have Bundesliga 1, Bundesliga 2, Bundesliga 3, Bundesliga 4, and also you have the lower leagues out there. In Germany, Hoffenheim defeated Schalke 04 by 2-0. Fondly called the Village Club. Hoffenheim 2, Schalke 0, Bochum 2. Stuttgart 3, Borussia Mönchengladbach saw off Wolfsburg by 2-0. It was Hertha Berlin 0, Leipzig 1, Augsburg 1, FC Cologne 3, Bayer Leverkusen 3, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, and Borussia Dortmund that defeated Union Berlin by 2-1, while Freiburg lost 0-1 to Bayern Munich, and it was Mainz 05, FSV Mainz 05-0, and Werder Bremen 2. That's the way it ended. Let's go to Italy. In Italy, fondly called the Serie A, the Stadio Olimpico Lazio defeated Juventus by 2-1. Torino lost 0-1 to AS Roma. Verona 2, Sassuolo 1. Atalanta 0, Bologna 2. Sampdoria lost 2-3 to Cremonese, and Fiorentina played out a 1-1 draw against Vistina Spezia. Udinese 2, Monza 2. AC Milan, AC Milan defeated, or rather AC Milan played out a goalless draw against Empoli. It was Lecce 1, Napoli 2, and then Salernitana couldn't get over Inter Milan. That game ended 1-0. Salernitana 1, Internazionale 1. That's the way it ended in the Italian Serie A in the match involving Salernitana and Internacional. Let's talk about Spain. In Spain, Rayo Vallecano won, Atletico Madrid 2, Almeria 2, Valencia 1, Real Betis Real Betis actually lost 0-2 to Cadiz, and Real Valladolid played out a scored draw. It was a 6-goal thriller, ended 3-3. Real Valladolid 3, Real Mallorca 3. Real Madrid in their game played at Villarreal, and they lost 2-3 in that match. Real Sociedad 2, Getafe 0, Espanyol 1, Atletico Madrid and 2, Osasuna 2, Elche 1, and Sevilla played out a 2-2 draw against Celta Vigo. Those are the results coming through from the Spanish La Liga Santander. In England, Manchester United defeated Everton by 2-0 in the Saturday tea time kickoff, or is it lunchtime kickoff actually, and Wolverhampton Wanderers saw off at Chelsea by 1-0. Not a good starter for the interim manager Frank Lampard, coming to the Molineux and losing by 1-0. Tottenham Hotspur, Brighton ended 2-1 in favor of Tottenham Hotspur. That's the match I was talking about, that the referees are saying that Brighton and Hove Albion should have had a penalty in that match. They were denied the penalty. Anyways, if they had scored in that match, they would have had 2 points and maybe just a point behind Tottenham Hotspur, but it never happened. So Tottenham Hotspur got the better of Brighton and Hove Albion. The match ended 2-1 in favor of Tottenham Hotspur. Leicester City at the King Power Stadium lost 0-1 to Bournemouth. I think it's safe to say that maybe at the end of the season, Leicester City may be playing in the Championship. It's not been a rosy one. Meanwhile, Burnley have qualified. Burnley will be playing in the Premier League next season. And the coach of Burnley is not that person but Vincent Kompany, the former skipper of Manchester City. And he has been there. And Burnley, what a record for them. They qualified to play in the Premier League for next season with 7 matches remaining to the end of the season. That's some record and history, rich one for Burnley under their manager, Vincent Kompany, who is doing so well. So he's set to bring his team to the Premier League next season. And Burnley, they play at the ground they call Turf Moor. So let's watch out and see what they do when they come into the Premier League next season. Elsewhere, the Craven Cottage in the London derby was Fulham 0. West Ham United 1. Fulham, another side, struggling, but let's see if they'll be able to stay afloat. West Ham United have also been struggling, but they've been able to pick some points of recent under David Moyes, and they may just as well see if they can get into the top 7 and get into the European position. Let's see if that's possible for West Ham United. Elsewhere, it was Brentford 1, Newcastle United 2. Yes, Newcastle United in form with players like Isak, Almiron, great players, and Newcastle United and pushing teams to the limit this season. And this one was a sweet victory away from home. And Newcastle, I can tell you, are really pushing to get into the Champions League places. So it's going to be maybe a photo finish towards the end of the season to see who are next at the sponsor for the Champions League. But it looks like the first and second position is done and dusted. Maybe Arsenal, Manchester City, or Manchester City, Arsenal. It can go anyway right now, especially now that the points have been pulled down, and we'll be watching out to about 6 points. Yes, Arsenal topping the log with just 6 points. And remember, Manchester City are still having a game in hand. So if they win that game in hand, they will just be 3 points adrift of Arsenal. Remember, Manchester City is still to play Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium. Arsenal next 2 matches, I think West Ham and Southampton, and then they face Manchester City. So all to still play for in the league. Elsewhere, Aston Villa defeated Nottingham Forest by 2-0 at the Villa Park. Southampton were obliterated by Manchester City 4-1. It happened at the St. Mary's, and Leeds United at the Elland Road couldn't survive the fierce power of our Crystal Palace. Wilfred Zaha and his group sort of Leeds United by 5-1. Last but not the least, on Sunday, it was Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Arsenal started firing with Martinelli getting the first goal, Gabriel Jesus getting the second one, but Salah pulled one back, and then Firmino late towards the ending of the game. Firmino always has this record against scoring against Arsenal, and he did in the first leg, which ended 3-2 at the Emirates Stadium, and now scored again at Anfield. So that match ended 2-2, and they cut the gap for Arsenal to 6. But Arsenal, like I said, still have their fate in their hands with 8 matches to go. It is still all to play for, still top fixtures for them. They still have the likes of Newcastle United to play away from home. They still got Chelsea to play at home, and they still got Man City to play. I think these are maybe the likely 3 strongest fixtures for Arsenal this season, but they still have West Ham, Southampton, and other clubs that to play for. So, but let's see how it goes down, if it goes down to the wire for Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, pushing to see if they can win their first league under Mikel Arteta for the first time in 19 years. Let's see how goes down with 8 matches to go. Well, on that note, that's the size of the show this morning, Sports Today on ABS TV. Thank you so much for being part of the Monday edition. I will be back here tomorrow for another episode of the show. My name is Ike Nwokede. Have a lovely week, but remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.